Here, the data shows a wide variety of sentences. Weighing all the relevant factors, the court determines that the sentence is 50 months of incarceration.
50.
4 years.
4 years.
5-0.
4 years, 2 months.
2 months.
Yep.
Wow.
50 months.
A former bodyguard for one of the most powerful men in hip-hop is now on the run, and the reason why will shock anyone following the Diddy case. Gene Deal, once Sean Diddy Combs' right-hand protector, has vanished from the public eye. And insiders say it's not because he's hiding from law enforcement, it's because he's avoiding something far more dangerous. Deal isn't running from a warrant, he's running from a network of power and fear that, according to sources close to the situation, still operates even with Diddy behind bars.
So why should I care? He did a whole lot of to a whole lot of people. And now he's paying for it. So all these cats, I guess y'all get y'all visitation rights. Some of y'all can get y'all conjugal visits right with him.
We've learned that Gene's disappearance isn't random. It's calculated. People who have spoken with him in recent weeks say he's been receiving warnings, quiet messages from industry insiders telling him to lay low and stop talking. But this isn't just a man scared for his safety. It's a man holding explosive knowledge. Deal worked as Diddy's personal security during some of the mogul's most controversial years. He saw what happened at those infamous parties, handled the aftermath of violent outbursts, and kept the inner workings of Bad Boy Records moving while everyone else was distracted by the glitz. During that time, Deal wasn't just part of Diddy's circle. He was part of his defense line. For years, he protected a man now convicted on federal transportation charges, accused in court of leading a criminal enterprise that blurred the lines between fame and fear. And yet, despite Diddy's transfer to the federal facility at Fort Dix in New Jersey this October, Deal's associates claim the mogul's influence still stretches beyond prison walls. The calls, the payoffs, the intimidation, none of it has stopped. It's the same pattern of pressure that comedian Katt Williams warned about long before the trial began.
When people are against the Illuminati, then they get punched in the face all the time. The press hates them, and nobody likes them.
Williams, who predicted in early 2024 that all lies would be exposed, told Shannon Sharpe during his viral Club Shay Shay interview that Diddy's world would soon collapse under the weight of its secrets. At the time, it sounded like a wild claim. 8 months later, Diddy was arrested in New York and charged with racketeering conspiracy, trafficking by force, and transportation for private encounters. Those charges, followed by his conviction, turned Williams' comments into what many now see as a chilling prophecy. In that same interview, he called Diddy a demon, accusing him of using spiritual manipulation and intimidation to control people around him. Now, with Gene Deal missing and reports of threats resurfacing, people are wondering whether Williams' words were more than just a performance. We can't ignore the contradiction. Gene was once one of Diddy's most loyal men. He defended him, traveled with him, and in many ways helped build the wall that kept Diddy's private life sealed off from scrutiny. But after stepping away, Deal began speaking publicly, first in interviews, then in viral live streams. He accused Diddy's team of trying to handle him as far back as 2008, long before any federal attention. At the time, people brushed it off as gossip. Now, those claims look like early warnings.
So now, if he's doing that, and the judge is saying all of the stuff that he did that was wrong, what else? Having security take people, put them up in abandoned buildings and threaten them. The judge had all that information.
Multiple insiders, including another former bodyguard named Roger Bonds, have confirmed that Diddy allegedly ordered his crew to confront Deal physically after he started talking about what he'd seen behind closed doors. Bonds said the directive was simple. If y'all see Gene, do something to him. That's how deep the loyalty went. Harlem locals recall those days as tense. Deal moving differently, refusing to appear at certain events, always looking over his shoulder. And that was years before the cameras turned on Diddy's trial. Fast forward to 2025, and the pattern hasn't changed. Even from a prison cell, Diddy's supporters have allegedly been seen near courthouses, intimidating reporters and online commentators covering the case. One YouTube journalist described being cornered by a group of his fans outside the courtroom, their threats loud enough to force law enforcement to lock down the area. No one intervened. It sent a message. Diddy might be incarcerated, but his reach remains. Behind the scenes, sources close to Gene say he's received calls offering money, hush money they claim, to move on and let the past rest. He refused. One name repeatedly mentioned is Kirk Burroughs, an early Bad Boy executive who allegedly reached out with a cryptic message. Enough is enough. Deal reportedly took it as a warning, not an olive branch. After all, this wasn't the first time he'd heard that phrase. It had been whispered to others before: Cassie Ventura, Don Richard, even lesser-known associates, people who later accused Diddy of using intimidation to silence them.
Same kind of extortion that we heard when Cassie took the stand and testified on that airplane ride back from France. Diddy said, "You don't do a freak off, I'm going to release one of the freak-off videos that you are profiled in and humiliate you.
When Williams went public about his own history of refusing invitations to Diddy's parties, he said, "You gotta tell him no. I did." That comment, minor at the time, now reads like a declaration of survival. The culture around those events has been under renewed scrutiny ever since Cassie's testimony described the coercive freak-offs and hidden recordings that prosecutors used to establish Diddy's control over his partners. Those revelations painted a chilling picture of manipulation, one that former employees like Gene Deal have quietly echoed for years. As the story unfolds, more figures connected to Diddy's empire have begun to surface with eerily similar experiences. Jamie Foxx's unexplained hospitalization in 2023, Keefe D's alleged targeting in custody after linking Diddy to Shakur's tragedy, and even ex-security guards claiming poisoning attempts. All of it creates a disturbing pattern. Whether coincidence or coordination, the timing raises questions that no one in Diddy's camp seems eager to answer. The FBI has neither confirmed nor denied any ongoing protection for witnesses tied to the case. But those close to Deal insist he's been living off the grid, switching locations and using intermediaries to communicate. Meanwhile, Diddy's children have stood by him publicly, posting on social media that their father is the victim of false narratives and conspiracy theories. It's a statement that aligns with the defense's ongoing appeal, but contrasts sharply with what insiders describe as a lingering climate of fear. Some of those same insiders say they've been followed, had vehicles tampered with, or received cryptic messages referencing private conversations only Diddy's inner circle would know about. Whether these are coincidences or coordinated signals is unclear, but for those watching closely, the atmosphere feels anything but safe. Every time someone steps forward with information about Diddy's past, something seems to happen. A sudden health emergency, a break-in, a car crash, a lawsuit withdrawn. The repetition is hard to ignore, and now, with Gene Deal missing, the sense of escalation is impossible to deny. Those who have known him describe a man who never backed down from confrontation, who once said on record, "I'm not that dude you can run up on." But even his friends admit that in recent months, his tone changed. He started talking about protection, faith, and being ready for whatever comes next. It's the language of someone who knows the stakes. What's most unsettling is how organized it all feels. Even as Diddy serves time, the same loyalists who once managed his events and finances are allegedly maintaining contact networks capable of tracking dissent. Some believe these connections are being used to pressure witnesses before the next phase of litigation. Others think it's a broader strategy, a warning to anyone who might still have information that could tie Diddy's empire to wider criminal activity. And at the center of it all is Gene Deal, the one man who might know how deep the roots go. But here's what no one's talking about. If Deal is running now, it's not because he's scared, it's because he's the one person who could bring the whole thing down, and Diddy's team knows it.
Are you concerned that Sean Diddy Combs could be assaulted, violently assaulted? Is that a thing? Because based on what was said in court, it feels like a thing.
While Deal's on the run, new evidence suggests Diddy's team has been working to silence him for years, and the methods are more ruthless than anyone imagined. Sources close to the federal investigation say that during recorded prison calls from early 2025, Diddy was overheard discussing Deal by name. The tone was calm, deliberate, and chilling. One insider familiar with the transcripts claims Diddy said that Gene knows the consequences of talking. It wasn't a threat shouted in anger. It was a reminder delivered with precision. We can't ignore what that implies. If true, it means Diddy's influence, even behind concrete and steel, remains alive and coordinated.
They never would have prosecuted him if it was just a manic.
They prosecuted him on all these other things, and they did find him guilty of this, so that still counts.
The jurors don't always get it right. We don't have to agree with their decision.
I just don't know because I wasn't sitting in the courtroom. And you've got to see the witnesses. Why didn't they believe Cassie? Why didn't they believe?
These recordings reportedly surfaced after a string of strange communications traced to numbers linked to Combs Enterprises staff still working outside Fort Dix. Authorities haven't confirmed their authenticity, but the timing is suspicious. Weeks after the calls were made, Deal vanished. That coincidence has fueled speculation that he isn't just hiding out of fear, he's running because someone made the warning real. Former security contractors tied to Bad Boy say this isn't the first time Diddy's name has been attached to behind-the-scenes intimidation. According to them, financial pressure and psychological games were always the first moves. They offer you comfort, they offer you money, and when you refuse, they offer you silence. We've learned that in late 2024, Deal was quietly offered a payout to disappear from the public eye. The number whispered among insiders was close to $10 million, less than the $30 million Cassie Ventura reportedly received when she settled her lawsuit, but enough to tempt anyone who's seen how Diddy handles defiance. Gene refused. He told friends that no amount of money could buy back his peace of mind, and from that moment, the tension escalated. Within months, he started losing contacts, sponsors, and online platforms. Deals that were once secure suddenly fell through. A pattern emerged that insiders call the slow freeze, a strategy meant to starve out anyone challenging the narrative without leaving fingerprints.
He got let off easy. And don't get me wrong, bro. I don't want to see a black man in jail. I don't want to see a black man in jail. But I don't care nothing about Diddy going to jail.
But money wasn't the only weapon. Those who've been around Diddy's circle long enough speak of a phrase that's floated through the industry for decades: street justice. It's the whispered promise that problems can vanish without paperwork, without trials, without questions. When Keefe D was attacked in jail after implicating Diddy in the old Shakur investigation, some said it was coincidence. When Jamie Foxx suffered a mysterious collapse in 2023, only weeks after publicly mocking Diddy's parties, others called it bad luck. But we've seen too many coincidences in this story to treat them as random. Each time someone edges closer to exposing something, the world seems to tilt against them. What makes Deal's case different is what he represents. He isn't a performer or a rival. He was inside the machine. He was the man who saw the checklists for those private gatherings, who handled security at events where no press was allowed. His testimony could link together what Katt Williams warned about, the so-called spiritual warfare within Hollywood, with what prosecutors have already laid out in court. He could be the bridge between rumor and reality, and that makes him dangerous. If Deal speaks, he doesn't just tell a story. He rewrites the history of an empire.
Good morning, Michael. At this point, we've all probably heard about these infamous parties. Diddy's assistant now giving us details about what he says were called Wild King Nights.
People close to him claim he's been keeping evidence. Photographs, logs, maybe even recordings from years when phones were less secure and egos were untouchable. Those materials could connect Diddy's name to more than personal misconduct. They could expose a coordinated network that blurred the line between business and coercion. That's what investigators are said to be hunting now, quietly cross-referencing files Deal once mentioned in interviews. But without his cooperation, the puzzle remains unfinished. It's why his disappearance feels less like flight and more like forced silence. Meanwhile, inside Fort Dix, reports say Diddy's demeanor has changed. Gone is the flashy arrogance from his trial days. He's been described by guards as controlled, watchful, methodical. He's allegedly focused on communication, sending coded messages through permitted phone calls and approved visitors. One former associate says Diddy told a visitor, "Everybody plays their role. Even the ones who forget will remember soon." If that's true, it's another veiled warning. For all the legal damage done, the culture of control might still be alive, thriving in whispers between loyalists.
Did you ever spend time with the guy? Did you ever meet Diddy?
I've met him before, yeah.
How was he?
Very nice guy, very smart, super business. You know, I mean, he's very successful.
We've watched this dynamic unfold before. The inner circle closes ranks, critics retreat, and anyone who challenges the myth pays the price. Former collaborators have described the same pattern. Lavish gifts followed by isolation, praise replaced with threats, loyalty rewarded only until it becomes inconvenient. Deal, by all accounts, crossed that invisible line the moment he chose to speak publicly. From there, it was only a matter of time before the quiet pressure turned into open hostility. The frightening part is how organized it appears, almost corporate in structure. The intimidation doesn't come from chaos, it comes from planning. What ties everything together is the psychological warfare at play. Sources allege that Diddy's remaining team has spread conflicting rumors about Gene's state of mind, painting him as paranoid, unstable, or desperate. It's a tactic meant to erode his credibility before he ever takes a stand. We've seen similar discrediting campaigns used in politics and business, but rarely with this level of personal malice. They want to make sure that if Gene ever steps into a courtroom or a television studio, the world doubts him before he speaks a word. It's damage control in its purest form. Behind closed doors, federal investigators are reportedly split. Some view Deal as a key witness who could unlock years of hidden evidence. Others worry he's become too volatile, too unpredictable to protect. The lack of coordination gives Diddy's camp space to maneuver, and they know it. Insiders have described attempts to lure Gene back through intermediaries, promising safety if he retracts certain statements. Each time, he refuses. Each refusal raises the stakes. In this climate, every small event feels loaded with meaning. When a car follows him for 3 blocks, when an unknown number calls twice at 3 a.m., when an old friend suddenly wants to meet in person, it all feels like part of the same shadow game. That's why those close to him say Gene is no longer just avoiding Diddy's people. He's avoiding everyone. He's changed phones, switched vehicles, and cut ties with almost every contact from his past. To the outside world, it looks like paranoia. But to anyone who's followed this case, it looks like survival.
To now, we've done 3 others where we've laid out the prosecution case. This time, we're talking specifically, what is Diddy's defense? And we decided to test it with a mock jury, and it is fascinating.
It is absolutely fascinating, keeping in mind that the real jury will be sitting down to do this. The trial starts first week in May.
The tension now isn't about what Diddy did in the past, it's about what happens next. Prosecutors believe more witnesses will emerge, but none carry the same weight as Gene Deal. He can name names, confirm patterns, and provide first-hand insight into how one of the most powerful figures in music built an empire on loyalty and fear. His story connects the courthouse confrontations, the media intimidation, and the warnings Katt Williams delivered with unnerving accuracy. It ties together every fragment of rumor into something that finally resembles a blueprint. That's why Diddy's alleged phone call about consequences matters. It's not just a threat, it's a prediction. As the months pass, every silence from Gene feels louder. We wait for a video, a message, even a sighting, but nothing comes. His absence has become its own statement, one that speaks to both courage and danger. Because if he resurfaces, everything could change. If he stays hidden, the mystery deepens, and the people who once protected him tighten their grip on the story. The stakes have never been higher, and every new development feels like the calm before another storm. The real question isn't whether Deal will testify, it's whether he'll survive long enough to do it. What do you think? Has Gene gone underground for his own safety, or has someone made sure his voice stays silent? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and stay close because this story isn't finished. Until next time, keep your eyes open and your guard up. Truth has a way of finding its way back.